Still Manchester City, where you might just stop. Now let's talk about the rebuilding troubles at the top. A disappointing season, no doubt, on players on behavior concern, and Pep Guardiola push for a smaller and more manageable squad this season. Is that the way to go for Manchester City?
If you know Guardiola over the years, he has not been that manager you have 35 players in. He likes his squad small. In range, so I'm not surprised if he now comes to say I only want 23, 24. I don't want too many players, and there's a reason why he's saying that, because when it's too much choose, it's too many headache. We can see what Chelsea went through. I don't want to envy Enzo Maresca on this season, because I think that's one of the reasons
that's
why
one of the problems
Pochettino moved on, because see, there is no way you see Chelsea was just lucky this season. One, due to the fact that Tottenham stumbled, they had a poor season. Man U had a poor season. Just imagine Man U was in form. Man U was not in form. Chelsea struggled to defeat them 1-0. If they were in form, I don't think Chelsea would have won that game. And Chelsea might not have gone to Champions League. So you have to just juxtapose. Look at Newcastle. Chelsea going to Newcastle. And Newcastle defeating Chelsea the same way Chelsea used to defeat smaller teams. It beckons on Chelsea going to the City Ground, and the pressure. You can feel Chelsea fans not knowing if Chelsea would win or not. See, let not the Conference League triumph blindfold us into thinking that Chelsea has not arrived. Chelsea is still far behind.
Okay, still let's return back to Manchester City and talk about Pep Guardiola right now. He says he wants more of a compact squad, and will it work in the long run? Because you look at the number of competitions they'll be playing, going into the Premier League and the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the UEFA Champions League, and also now I'm talking about the Club World Cup. That is about on 5 fronts, with about just a mere 25 squad players. Yeah, we've seen it work for Liverpool, because Liverpool is one of those clubs you can always look up to. They don't have lot of players. You look at the bench, they barely have more than 16 good players they can back on for the whole season. Yes, for the larger part of the season they deliver, but at the end of the season they do have that issue. So that is where I'm looking at it for Pep Guardiola right now. On the long run, wanting a compact squad, will he actually work the magic for him?
He answered the question, because when he was told about the marathon, he said there are boys in the academy. So that is opening the doors to the academy boys. Which you saw Chelsea, Achipong, we saw some guys, Tyron George, who scored that important equalizer against Fulham. So he said if injuries eat the squad that much, there are guys from the academy that can come up and just give them. Okay, Xavi gave Lamine Yamal just an opportunity because there was a crisis. And look at what the boy has done to today. So sometimes you have to give it a chance, because football, there's nothing 100% about football. Everything is just you presume, you calculate, you try to forecast, you try to predict. So when you bring in quality, but the thing is, you cannot predict that inexperienced boys will win what experienced guys should do. You need experience in the mix of your squad. Look at Real Madrid, the transition. Whenever you see they brought in Vinicius Jr., he was understanding Cristiano Ronaldo, understanding Benzema. Look what he became. So that is the strategy. The young and the old. The old and old the young ones, and bring them up, teach them, encourage them. Because there are games, I remember in my playing days, and there were games whereby, as the captain then, we were struggling for results. They won't call the young boys on the field. They will be calling the experienced guys, because you are the ones carrying the burden. Because those young guys, look at Kopama for example, he fizzled out. So when you look at Man City now, the thing is, bring experience. When there is injuries, we can always introduce. Look at Arsenal. Skelly, when there is injury, when there is a problem, maybe it's time to announce another person. So when there are injuries, bring in the academy, and honestly, I support what Guardiola is trying to do.
Okay, as I'm talking about the academy boys, there's no way we won't talk about the outgoing players at Manchester City. De Bruyne is one of them. It looks like Bernardo Silva might also be kissing Manchester City goodbye, and also AK Gundogan, and also some players are under scrutiny. Talking about the likes of Foden, Alan. Yes, I think they are their standards actually fell last season. Probably they are a problem of the standard people put onto them. But a player like Foden, I think last season wasn't the best for Foden.
Yeah, it was massive last season, but he has really been a shadow of himself this season. I think it started
This
from
past season.
yeah, this past season. It started from the Euros. He didn't really have the best of the best Euros. He was struggling.
I do think he can get back to his best.
I think he can. I think he can. You know, one thing about Foden is that he benefited from quality around him. So now, when you have players that can take on two, it reduces the pressure on the next man. So that's the essence of having quality players. And you know that Kevin De Bruyne was still really good. And one thing we fail to talk about is the impact of Alvarez that was missing this season. Alvarez was a massive player for them. You see some 2-1, 1-0. Alvarez scored a free kick. Alvarez scored a screamer while De Bruyne was injured. You know, those little details, they were the ones that were adding up sometimes for Man City. But when Alvarez left, they failed to replace him. So when like now, for instance, Haaland is not available to draw the guys to himself. Even when Haaland is available, this season most times Haaland was misfiring. It's not the Haaland. I think he didn't get up to 20 goals this season.
I doubt if it was more than 20
Yeah.
goals.
So because I know the second is Alexander Isak with 23 goals and Salah 29. So when you look at it, I think the quality that Man City failed to reinvest back into the squad. I think that's why they had this challenge this season. And one thing I know for sure is Pep Guardiola is going to come out all gun blazing. He's not a coach that you can joke with.
Okay, looking at the players Manchester City have been linked up to right now. We have the likes of Czeki from Olympique Lyon, the French international. There's also Tijani Reijers, yes, from AC Milan also. But we'll be seeing how much or which of those players will be joining Manchester City when the transfer window fully opens